Hello and welcome to erpwebtutor.com. This is Orideep, and this tutorial we will talk about the different Oracle apps releases and the different functionalities that we can use. So as we can see here, that the Oracle apps releases, it started off with the 10.6, which was the character mode, and then moved ahead to the 10.7, which had the smart client character mode, and then came the release 11 eyes. It started 11.5.7, 11.5.9, 11.5.10, and actually there are a lot of clients that are still using 11.5.9 or 11.5.10. Then they came up with the release 12, and it also had the release 12.1.1, 12.1.3, and then finally the Oracle Fusion release, which was released this year during the Oracle Open World. So it's very important for any Oracle consultant to remember these different releases, because the clients, they keep asking about which release or which version you have worked on. So you need to make sure that you say, okay, I worked on 11.5.9, 5.10, and right now working on something, let's say 12.1.1. So it just you need to remember the different releases, and with all different releases, Oracle comes up with different patches, and then with some kind of upgrades based on what they found or the bugs that were logged by the clients in a prior release. So these are the different Oracle apps releases we have, and so let's move on to the next slide. In this slide, we are talking about the building blocks of Oracle applications, and as we can see, okay, we have Oracle 10G now, which is the Oracle, the database that Oracle Apps uses. PL/SQL is the main programming language used to build scripts and other API calls. The screens for 11i, or the 11.5.9, 10, and also most of R12 uses the forms 10G as the screens. The reports 10G is also used by Oracle to have all the standard reports that Oracle provides with the ERP suites. They also have other reporting formats. We will talk about those. From a development perspective, we currently prefer to use the XML publisher or a BI publisher because of the ease of designing the layouts. The reports 10G had problems with building the layouts. It was very tough for a developer to generate the layouts. So with the introduction of XML publisher or BI publisher, it becomes a lot simpler by using Microsoft Word as designing the templates. The Pro-C is also used by Oracle. It's rarely used by a developer building some applications using Pro-C. Now Java, again, Oracle is trying to bring or migrate most of their screens using now the application development framework, and that definitely requires a lot of Java knowledge. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of the forms, which has the limitation of using an add-on called the JInitiator that runs in the background when you try to launch a form. Again, we will see that how the JInitiator is launched and how the forms look like. So with the introduction of application development framework, primarily uses JDeveloper to build the screens. So with this technology, what we are trying to achieve is that we're trying to get rid of those add-ons that is required for the forms, and everything is becoming web-based. So it's just one web page, and that's going to make things a lot simpler. So, and that for Oracle now, I mean, if for any developer, that's the way to go, especially with the Fusion in the horizon. I mean, it's very important or very essential for somebody who wants to get into the technical world of Oracle apps. It will be very beneficial if that person is having knowledge on JDeveloper and application development framework called ADF. So let's move ahead. In this slide, we're talking about the role of ERP professionals. So let's say a company, say Demo Corporation, has decided to implement Oracle ERP, and now they have hired, say, Deloitte or some XYZ consulting firm to implement the Oracle ERP suite for them. So what are the major roles that will be responsible for a smooth delivery or a good implementation of this software? So first we have the project manager is primarily acting as the liaison between the implementing team and the client to ensure a smooth and timely delivery of the project. The functional consultants are responsible for the setups. They interact with the business users to collect info for the setups. They create the functional documentation, and they are the ones who are responsible for setting up the client's businesses in Oracle. Now, techno-functional consultants, it's a very like a funny term to me. It says techno-functional and not functional technical. I don't know why it turned out this way, but that's what people use. So what it means is that this consultant is knowledgeable in both the technical areas and the functional areas. So let's say he's basically a mix of both worlds, the functional setups and also the technical programming part. The technical consultants are mainly responsible for creating the scripts for data loading, building reports. If there's an additional screens that need to be built, that's the requirement for the client to have additional screens. So those things are developed by the technical consultants. The system administrator / DBA belongs to the same group, though they have different role. The sysadmin or the system administrator is most responsible for system level security, like user management, like preventing different level of users from having access to different information. Whereas the DBAs are more often looking after the database, running scripts, applying patches for upgrades, so work like that. So they're more concerned about keeping the database stable, the overall system stable, and the system administrator, or we will refer to as sysadmin, is more responsible for the security and the role assignment. The user and the super user also belongs to the similar group with certain restrictions on their access to information. The user, a regular user, would be having definitely a lower level of access to information. For example, we can think of an AP clerk who enters invoices, but if there's a need to create a bank account that needs to be added to the system, probably a regular user won't be able to do it because of restricted access. So in that case, a super user would probably be the supervisor or boss of a user, would do the sensitive information like setting up bank accounts or giving salary increments and other sensitive informations like that. So a super user is mostly looking after the regular day-to-day setups where data security is more strict, whereas a regular user is responsible mostly for entering daily transactions. So let's move ahead to the next slide. Now, this is a very common thing, the internet computing architecture, what kind of architecture is being used by the Oracle ERP. This is a very common architecture with most software today on the client-server mode, two-tier or sometimes multi-tiered. So in Oracle apps, we have multi-tiered. So as you can see that, okay, the desktop tier, the application tier, and the database tier. The desktop tier is the place where a user is logging in to create some transactions. So it opens some app screens. You can browse for different information that you're trying to enter, update, or delete. Now, you're trying to open a form where you're trying to enter some data. That form server is residing on the application tier. And now you're trying to modify some data which resides in the database tier. So that's how we see that this Oracle Apps is running on a multi-tiered computing architecture. And you can get a lot of information on the web for this multi-tiered computing architecture, but that's pretty much all you need to know about the basics of the computing architecture for Oracle Apps. If you need to learn more about it, you can definitely Google it, and you can get a lot of information on the web. So let's move ahead to the next slide. This talks about the operational/functional security. So this diagram, we'll just briefly see what each component in the diagram looks like and what they are. And once we actually see the screens, I mean, whatever in the following tutorials, we will try to dig deeper into each of these components, which are shown on this slide. And that will keep us, that will help us map these images or components to the real world of Oracle applications. Once again, all these components that we are seeing here, it's not just Oracle HRMS, it's true with any Oracle Apps module, say financials or manufacturing or HR. So there's an application user who uses the application. User has responsibilities. You need to have at least one responsibility assigned to a user in order to navigate through the Oracle screens. The responsibilities will have request group. Request groups will have concurrent programs or request sets. We will have a more detailed tutorial on what are concurrent programs. Then we have the data groups. Data group is responsible for fetching information from the database and also allowing or preventing a user from performing certain actions on the database. So let's say you have a data group that has a schema that relies on a schema in the database, which doesn't let you delete information. So if the data group associated with that responsibility is built in such a way that if you are logged into that responsibility, you can only view information, but you cannot modify any information. So those kind of setups or data security is controlled by the data group. And then you have menu and functions. Again, we'll have more details on what menus are, what functions are in the following slides. And in the next tutorial, we'll try to map these and get more details into what responsibilities, request group, menu, and functions are. So till then, you can practice your own, get some more information, and we will catch you soon. Thank you and have a good day.